What's good, people? What's good? Welcome to another edition of Politicked right here on the Got What You Need Network. Be sure to support the other broadcasts on this great network. Ian Friends, Life and Love, the Black Male Podcast, as well as the Encourage and Inspire Podcast. Also be looking for the Exposed TV show coming to our Roku channel. That should be real exciting, man. But yeah, man, let's get right to it. All right. I'll start with Kyrie. All right. I'm not someone who's coming here to defend Kyrie, his stance in regards to who the original Jewish people are and all that kind of stuff, because he's not the first person who said it. And one of the first people, well, not the first people, but someone who actually said it was a Jewish man. Pointed to himself. He said, "I'm Jew, but you are Jewish." So I'm just saying, and that's recorded on a podcast somewhere, so it's not something that I just made up. But let's get to the point. He retweeted, I guess, the cover for a movie from Hebrews to Negroes, and it's on Amazon, right? And I didn't go watch it. And two things before we even get into it: the price to rent it went up, and the price to purchase went up as soon as the controversy started. And whoever is making that, along with Amazon, is making a bunch of money over like somebody else is paying. Now to Kyrie. I don't get how you get punished for not apologizing the way people want you to. I don't get that. The man showed remorse, donated money to the Anti-Defamation League and all. And somehow a bunch of ESPN reporters, Nick Friedel, wanted to make this just the biggest issue in the world. And now he has to he has to jump through a bunch of hoops now just to play basketball because he offended one group. I know we keep harping on Brett Favre, and we always trying to compare, but look at what we're comparing. We're comparing a man who lied about mistakenly getting welfare funds and using them for a soccer stadium, a volleyball stadium at his alma mater, and where his daughter was enrolled at the time that this was going on, and as a volleyball player. We got proof that he was a bully about the whole situation. We got proof, from text messages, phone calls, all that. And I quote, I won't take no, or we won't take no for an answer. So he was pushing for this money. He wasn't made to apologize. As a matter of fact, he was even allowed to double down on the lie that he didn't know what was going on and then blame the media for attacking him and been able to just go quietly into the night. We know he ain't paid back all the money, and yet no outrage there. Yet for an entire week until Kyrie was finally suspended, all we heard was him tweeting that movie and the fact that he wouldn't apologize the way the way white people thought he should apologize. Like, I don't know, man. Like, and I can't even believe that I'm defending dude, right? Because he says so much crazy stuff, man. But this supposed to be the country where you're allowed to do that. White men marched through Charlottesville, North Carolina, talking about Jews won't replace us. And the president at the time referred to them as very nice people. Like, we can't pick and choose when we have like this total outrage, and then like a person gotta like fall on their sword 2 times, then get up, pick it up, and then stab himself in the heart again, you know, and then still have to beg, you know, for forgiveness, man. Yet other people can openly talk negatively about them, or support people who basically said we want them wiped off the face of the earth. And it's just like, oh, you know, that's Donald, that's Trump. And it's like, who could it be more effective for? Like, it's people that follow Kyrie, but it ain't people like invading the Capitol for Kyrie. Like, it ain't people that's committing violence for Kyrie. Yet we try to make this man out to be just the worst like human being on earth, man. You know, and like I said, I didn't watch the documentary. I saw people who did watch it, who posted about it. The graphics are just crazy bad. It looks like a bad PowerPoint presentation. And because of this controversy, likely millions of people gonna watch it and put a lot of money in the person who created it, as well as Amazon's pocket. All while Kyrie is gonna lose more than $3 million just in salary. Then on top of that, Nike discontinued the deal that they had with him to release another signature shoe. So now that deal is gone, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like I said, man, he expressed remorse and he apologized, and because he didn't apologize in the way they didn't think he was sorry enough, then it's like, nah, you got to suffer some more then. And I think that's trash. And once again, like, I'll go back with Jack Del Rio, coach of the Redskins, said, basically said that the January 6th rioters were nothing more than a walk in the park. And, you know, and he plays on a team in D.C. I mean, he coaches on a team in D.C. with mostly black players in a city with mostly black people. And he was just allowed to hide, shut his Twitter account down and hide and keep collecting the check. But now, like, Kyrie gotta be made an example out of, like, boy, y'all better not say nothing about them people, because you see what happened. You see what happened to Kyrie. All right, man. Imagine you being the one of the richest people on earth, and you so bored that you see a meme tweeted, and then you decide to act upon it, and you announce that you're gonna buy Twitter for $44 billion, and so on and so forth. Through all the nonsense and whatever, Elon Musk finally bought Twitter. And of course, if you don't know, this was just to affect the election, affect how messages are put out there, and how people receive them, and ultimately to reinstate Donald Trump on Twitter. That's all this was about. But what he found out was that when you purchase something like this that you know nothing about, there's always some pitfalls. So the first thing he wanted to do was these mass layoffs. And he quickly are finding out that he's going to owe those folks back pay and medical benefits for a lot of period of time, because any mass layoff has to be given with notice, But, you would think somebody like him would know that, but he didn't. Then on top of that, Twitter is now just hemorrhaging money because all of the major advertisers have basically said, nah, we're suspending any ads until we figure what's good. And it's affecting him, because he even got on Twitter and was complaining that the activists are scaring the advertisers away, and I gave them everything they wanted, when we know that he's basically been firing moderators and making it easier for racists to post content and intimidate, because anyone that's posting about progressive causes have all announced, something happening to their account. He messed with Representative and what is it, AOC. I won't even try to say her whole name. AOC turned off her. She couldn't see her mentions or her comments, and different like basically her whole account disappeared just because she pissed him off or what have you. And my whole thing is like, you're the richest man on earth. You got a space program. You got basically cars that are basically gonna become the norm in the next 10 years. It'll probably be more electric vehicles in some cities than there are gas powered, or at least electric, hybrid vehicles in most cities than there are just totally gas powered vehicles, set to make a windfall, even more so than what he's already making off of Tesla and the other things he's got going on. But no, he needed that power. He needed a way to stick it to the libs and stick it to the progressives. And what he's finding now is, with all the changes and things that he's announcing, that people from both sides are pissed. With this $8 a month supposed, subscription fee, or having to, to pay for a blue check, and all this different stuff, trying to nickel and dime people to try to help him to stop losing money, when he could have just left well enough alone. Jack Dorsey's somewhere laughing his ass off right now and paid, whoever, where they're major shareholders, they're somewhere yo, man, it was fun having a day job, but man, we good right now. And, thanks to that idiot, all on this power trip, just couldn't leave well enough alone. And now every day you just see him whining about the different sponsors that are leaving, and other complaints once again about basically paying $44 billion to have a day job. So you get what you get. We still in election season, people, man, and I'm pleased to hear the early voting has been tremendous. The early voting has been well beyond what any of the polls were saying, and that's heartening to be just based on who's running on the other side. And when I say other side, this is not any type of endorsement of a Democratic candidate or the Democratic Party as a whole. But how, like, in what world are people that say an election that wasn't stolen was stolen can then run for office and then basically say the only way I respect an election is if I win. If I don't win, then there must have been something corrupt and I will question the results. Like, we're living in such a dangerously corrupt time. And all we need is for the right people to be elected to certain offices. And it's just going to be open season on black and brown people. And, I'm not talking going back to slavery and nothing like that. But it's going to be certain places that we're not going to want to go because no matter what happens or how bad we're treated or whatever, no jury in that municipality going to convict somebody there. Like, we're almost there now where it's just lawsuit after lawsuit, rich people being able to basically search out judges to bring lawsuits for. Speaking of lawsuits, though, shout out to Rudy Giuliani, who found out that a civil suit in the state of Georgia by 2 election workers that he lied on can go forward. And he can't get it thrown out, which means that now we have discovery. And that means that, like, all the evidence has to come out of what he said, how he cooked the story up, why he cooked the story up, who he cooked the story up for. So, you can lie, but some lies cost money. Rudy Giuliani finding that out, and a bunch of other Trump supporters. But look, I don't want to get too far away from what I was originally speaking on, and that's at some time, the media, powers that be, have to say enough is enough. The American people watched majority white Trump supporters attack the U.S. Capitol looking for Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence. And not because they're mad at the direction of this country and all that other BS, because one racist man who shouldn't have been president in the first place became president, and when he wasn't reelected, they lost their mind and are still losing their mind, still saying the election was stolen. And I keep saying, to me, that should disqualify you for running for office. Like, it just should. If you can't respect an election that was certified and certified by people in your own party, then what gives you the right to then run for office on any level? You're basically saying you don't respect the process unless the process produces a favorable result for you. And if that doesn't happen, then the process must be corrupt. And it's dangerous to allow people like that to run for office. We got election intimidation going on in Arizona, where it's armed people across from different drop boxes, threatening people. We have voter intimidation going on in Georgia because the Republicans made a bad choice in picking Herschel Walker and thinking that any sensible black people were going to vote for him and that any sensible white people were going to vote for him. Yeah, you're going to have some staunch Republicans that just want, GOP power, no matter what, and that are going to fall in line. But, man, there are white Republicans like, I cannot vote for this lying dummy. Like, with Herschel Walker and what's so crazy with him is that he lies about, like, silly stuff. Playing basketball with Obama. I'm like, man, like, I've been closer to President Obama than Herschel Walker probably has been. But nope, said that. But then when that became something that they could use against him, then it was like, I never met the man in my life. And, like, how many abortions has the man paid for? And once again, that's him and his family and his ex-women, his ex-girlfriend's business. But what I'm getting at is then you then can't turn around and run on a pro-life platform when a baby is not convenient for you, then it's okay for the woman that you impregnated to have an abortion. But for anybody else, that's murder, and then they can be criminally charged. Like, that's what we're up against. When I say the other side, I'm not, like, talking about what President Biden's going to do, Vice President Harris, Speaker Pelosi, none of these people. What I'm saying is that the Republicans are saying the loud part, the quiet part out loud. And with that, like, just listen. You don't have to listen closely, just listen. They talk about black and brown people as if we're second-class citizens. They make the protest for racial justice be all about riots and violence. And we know for a fact that there were bad actors there to incite some of the violence that went on. We know that certain things were set on fire on purpose, but they wanted to show it on TV as if, oh man, don't let this violence and stuff get in the way of the cause and all of this kind of stuff. Even when you compare the numbers in regards to, like, property damage, type of arrest, whether the arrest was felony, misdemeanor, or so forth, like January 6th don't even it don't even compare to those racial justice protests at all. And I know, man, for the last few weeks, man, I just really, man, just trying to sound the alarm on the type of people that are running for office in this country, man, because even if it's not in your state, in some ways it'll affect you. Herschel Walker becoming a U.S. Senator will affect everyone listening here. And if you're listening to this podcast, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you adversely. Lee Zeldin winning for governor, and if he was to win the governor's race in New York, that's bad. First of all, you have a Trump supporter. You have someone who supported the January 6th rioters. You have someone who doesn't believe in gun control, but then at the same mouth talks about he wants to be tough on crime. Like, you can't have it both ways. And the way that Republicans just boldly talk out both sides of their mouth, especially during this race, is just crazy. And for a lot of people listening to, okay, maybe not y'all, but your neighbors who decide, oh, we gotta vote some Republicans in because the gas too high. Like, that makes no sense when no one running for Congress, running for U.S. Senate, has said anything in regards to any plans to lower food prices, lower fuel or gas prices or anything. Only thing they're doing is complaining about how high they are and saying that Biden's policies caused it, which they did. They're the same party that when the student loan relief was passed, fought against it all the way up to the Supreme Court, to finally the Supreme Court said, no, it can go forward. But yet, it's going to be people that want that program to succeed, but going to be outwardly talking down about it and other programs. Senator Mike Lee said he wanted to pull Social Security up by the roots and end it once and for all. What is the fascination with Republicans taking money from people who earned it? Social Security isn't welfare. Social Security gets taken out of your check for every day you worked in your life. And now people that worked 30, 40, 50 years, baby, in some cases, 50 is a lot, 40 years, let's say, not going to be able to collect money that was rightfully theirs because Republicans want to use it to give back to their donors and give to programs and things that will help people that voted for them. And some of them will be people that's losing out on Social Security, but they'll just turn around and just blame that on, Mexicans, illegal immigration, black crime, and all of that kind of stuff, and won't blame it on the people that are taking it from them in their face. People said I didn't say enough about the Kanye situation. So, here goes. I don't agree with a lot of what I guess the black people are saying about Kanye. I don't like him. I think he's okay, let's put this in perspective. Up until graduation, and it was some hits in between there, but like solid albums back to back to back. You don't get no better than Dropout, Registration, and Graduation. Like, to start a career, amazing. All right. I don't know, man. I don't understand him. I don't get how you get everything that you want, but then the few things that you can't get, you want also, and then when you don't get it, you thrash the establishment. You thrash, people that you talked on songs as being your best friend. Like, even what he was trying to make the point about Leo Cohen and the record company executives, I thought that was corny. He was signed to Def Jam. And he was trying to be on Def Jam. Like Rockefeller, Def Jam, but you understand what I mean. So, you can't be down with all of that, and with him being one of the executives at the label at the time that you were at your height, all of a sudden get this epiphany later on, and then want to talk about, oh, the music is poisoning people and so on and so forth. And then look, I even gave him credit thinking, okay, he was being crazy to get out of his deals. But now that don't even seem true, because the thing he did the very next day was go to another manufacturer. He didn't go to China. He didn't go to another country. You know, he didn't go out to Wyoming to his ranch out there and build a warehouse and hire a bunch of black people. All I see is him messing up other black people's bag. I believe Keisha Cole, son, she had to find another school for her son, because the Donda Academy closed down. And look, if you enroll your child in that school, yo, that's on you. Like, I feel bad for the kid, but that's just kind of what you get. So, I don't know, man. I'm glad he quiet. I'm glad, like, he ain't getting as much traction. I don't know, man. I just think that he gets a pass for stuff and gets to use this mental health crutch unfairly, and it's disrespectful to people who can't afford the proper care to get their mental health treated properly. And here you have, even if he ain't a billionaire no more, he worth for $500 million, who, I don't know, he's just about chaos and problems. And I don't know, he just not my cup of tea anymore, man. All right, man. Lastly, New Jersey, I believe it was the New York Star Ledger, recently posted a story about the marijuana industry. And that's another thing that you need to think about when you vote in Republican. A lot of Republicans was against legalization. And in some ways, they'll roll back a lot of the progress that we've gotten, with the changing of the marijuana laws. But in New Jersey, they say it's a big success in regards to money, but there's still not enough outlets, that sell recreational to weed out the street dealers, which they're never going to do anyway. But I think I said this on the playlist, man. Until they figure out a better system in some of the places, like, people just not going to wait in line. When there's some places where you could walk in and out in 10 minutes, and then it's a place in the next city over in Woodbridge. Yo, let me see this dispensary, experience, whatever. Put me an order in. Waited till the time they said it would be ready before I even left the crib, got in line, and it was still an hour and 15 minutes from the time I got in line to the time I walked out with my product. In that time, yo, I could have just took the train to New York, got off, and walked right either down the street from Penn Station or across the street from Penn Station, walk in the store, and just pointed to whatever I want, got it, got back on the train, and went home. In the same amount, well, an hour wait, I'm just saying, it's an hour to New York, you know what I'm saying? 45 minutes to an hour, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? So, to me, like, if I knew it was going to be that long, it was just worth taking a trip. It'd be cheaper, buy more, And now I ain't got to worry about the cops getting me for transporting it back over to New Jersey or whatever, man. So, shout out to Diddy. He just made a major purchase of a bunch of marijuana manufacturing facilities, which allegedly makes him the largest manufacturer of marijuana in the world. But I'll have more about that story because I'm just getting that now. Not enough time to do research and talk about it, but we'll talk about that next, as well as the election results, man, and what it means to you in your city, your municipality, your county, or your state. Appreciate all the support, all the feedback. Once again, please support the other great podcasts on this network. Ian Friends, Life and Love, the Black Male Podcast, the Encourage and Inspire Podcast as well. I think I'm missing one. Ian Friend, Life and Love, Black Male, Encourage and Inspire. And you're listening to Politicked. I'm your host, Scott. That's my time. And I'm out. Peace.